I'm not even going to ask Andrew Hustler Paterson about his jewels at all, but I'm going to ask him some hockey questions here. How you doing, Hus? You're looking good, buddy.
What's going on, Rod? Hey, well, you are too. What's up? Did you just pack up and move to South Florida? I've been enjoying your travels. Quite jealous when you did the show at Beaucampers, one of my favorite sports bars south of the border.
Third largest sports bar square footage in all of America. I can't imagine the top two because that place is ginormous. But no, it's been good, Hus. Hey, look, a lot of things I want to get to you with. Let's start with Carey Price, if you don't mind. On the news this morning that he was entering the NHL Players Association Player Assistance Program. He'll be gone for a minimum 30 days. What did you think when you heard it?
Well, I mean, obviously, first off, you're concerned for the human. I mean, it's devastating for the Montreal Canadiens not to have him. But I mean, I think Carey Price is he's a Canadian icon, not just of the Montreal Canadiens, but also a guy that I think every Canadian is counting on to be part of our Olympic team going for gold in Beijing. So when you hear something like this, first and foremost, you're concerned for the person. I do have to say that I think this sort of thing is handled far better now and differently than it was in the past. And I think we're in a good spot. We've heard what Robin Lehner had to say on the weekend. And again, these were different topics, but he's been very outspoken on mental health. And when you think about what's happened to some of the players that have played in the National Hockey League post-career, I think it's very important that we focus on the mental health of these athletes. So I think everyone just hopes that Carey Price gets whatever help that he needs. And hopefully soon hockey fans, both who love the Habs and hate the Habs, will see one of the best goaltenders back in the crease. And most importantly, doing well for him personally and his family.
Hush, you said it well. You're a wordsmith. And Carey Price is an icon. Great wording there. And a great person. It's interesting what you mentioned about the Olympics. If he isn't able to go, and who knows, you would hope that the problems will be behind him by then. I guess it would be Carter Hart's time to shine, because I think he is Canada's future in goal. But right now, it's a big drop-off from Carey Price to Carter Hart. Moving on, ho-hum.
I mean, wait a second. We're giving Carter Hart the number 2 spot on Team Canada? I mean, to be honest, right now, considering the season he had last year, he's going to be lucky to make the team. I mean, you got Marc-Andre Fleury won the Vezina Trophy. Carey Price had a solid season, and he's Carey Price. To me, there's those two guys, and then there's just a bunch of question marks. I mean, who has a lot of confidence in Carter Hart after the season he had last year? I asked Philly fans about that, Rod. And Jordan Binnington? I'm not really that in on Jordan Binnington. And hell, Mackenzie Blackwood, we thought he would be in. Well, he's not even able to go because he's not vaxxed right now. So, listen, the goaltending position already was a little bit of a concern. I think if you looked at Team Canada overall, this news today, again, first things first, we're thinking about the person. But Canada needs Carey Price at the Olympics right now because, I mean, beyond Marc-Andre Fleury and Carey Price, there are massive question marks. And that's the one place where Canada, when you compare them to a number of the other countries in the world, is actually at a deficit. You can't say that about pretty much every other position on the team.
Okay, now I got to go to the big board. Listen, you know hockey's my number one sport, and I was a goaltender, so I think I know what I'm talking about there. I don't even think the Flower was on the Sochi team, was he? It was Price. Mike Smith was the third. Flower hasn't really represented Canada internationally since, I think, the World Juniors in 2003 in a significant fashion, and I'm a Flower fan. I'll make you a bet today, Huss, that Carter Hart starts in the Olympics if Carey Price does not. That's just my thinking.
Okay, I'm in on it. Whatever the wager is, Rod, let's do it. As I said, Fleury versus Hart. Fleury, he won the Vezina Trophy last year. He's going to have... Now, I will make this caveat that if Carter Hart all of a sudden tears it up, he could be on the team and he'll be an option. I think that's the best case scenario for Canada. But my God, he had one of the worst seasons for a starting goaltender in the National Hockey League last year. So there's a lot of work to do before Carter Hart actually earns a spot on the team. Never mind jumps the guy that won the Vezina Trophy last year for a spot in net, in my opinion.
Oh, my God. Huss, this is why you and I would... Hey, this is how you and I would be great together. Listen, if Marc-Andre Fleury's not good enough for Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights, he's not good enough for me and Team Canada. And I've also seen Carter Hart at his best. So he had one bad year. So what? Other goalies have had bad years. Carey Price has had bad years in his career. So what? Carter Hart has represented Canada internationally at the World Juniors. I've seen him at his best. His problems are here, not skill-wise. But anyways... We need to move on. And I got to did you spend any time this week talking on Winnipeg Sports Talk about Eddie Steele being let go by Edmonton Elks Radio for his comments on this show, critical of Brock Sunderland? Whether you have or you haven't, I want your thoughts now, because he's a Winnipegger and beloved in that town. Eddie Steele, a lot of work media-wise.
Yeah, listen, it's unfortunate. I respect Eddie a lot for what he said yesterday, saying, I stand behind what I said 100%. And hey, Rod, this is one of the things that we're enjoying right now, the freedom of doing things somewhat independently without having anyone kind of rapping your knuckles. Hey, he was working for the team broadcaster, which is essentially being in bed with the team. So when you do make truthful statements, but very critical ones of the organization you're essentially working for, you put yourself in danger. I'll say this, though. I think Eddie's going to end up better for this. I think the attention on what he's doing, what he's been saying, I think he's earned a lot of respect within the Canadian football media. And you know what? He didn't say anything that's wrong. This Edmonton situation is a mess. It starts with the top, and then you saw what Brownlee tweeted afterwards. I mean, could you have any more of a PR nuke in the city of Edmonton that someone was responsible for banning Joey Moss from the locker room? Now, I don't have all the details, but I know Robin Brownlee is a very respected voice in that community. It's been there for a long time. It went from bad to worse for Brock Sunderland yesterday. And maybe if this team was 6-2, the conversations would be different. But they've been embarrassing this year. They've lost twice to Ottawa right now. They're in last place in the West, and they're going in to face a buzzsaw Bomber team on Friday night. So it stinks in Edmonton right now, on the field, off the field. And it's pretty surprising when you think, I'll say this about Sunderland, as much of a mess this organization is right now, he's got a lot of talent on his roster. So, I mean, the questions as to why they're here, we can debate. But the bottom line is the PR for the Elks this week and their general manager has been an absolute disaster. And I think Eddie Steele's going to be just fine. I know he's always got a spot on your show and mine as well to talk CFL, and I'm looking forward to what he does next.
He's great. He's an authentic person. He's real. By the way, from what I hear, Brock Sunderland mounting a counterattack on these allegations, specifically with the Joey Moss one. So it ain't over yet, Huss. And let me just lastly say this. So the Bombers got Edmonton on Friday night. Should be a mollywhopping at IG Field. Should we just hand out the Grey Cup to the Blue Bombers now? That's what I'm thinking. I just think they should just get the trophy now. What do you think? They're that much better than everybody else.
They're the class of the league right now. But you know what? That's what everyone in this city was saying 20 years ago in 2001 when they ended up losing to the 8-10 Stampeders in the Grey Cup. It'll be interesting to see how these final 6 games go, because realistically, if they win these next couple of games against Edmonton, they could, for all intents and purposes, clinch the West, with 3 games left in the season. So how they handle that, I'm not sure. But they don't handle up the Grey Cup after 8 games. Mike O'Shea knows that more than anyone. It's a very talented team. It's a team that has been getting better throughout the season. And I don't see any signs of letting up, even with what happened with Kenny Lawler this week. But there's still a lot of road left to go for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And next stop is a home date with the Elks on Friday night. In a lot of ways, put a nail in the coffin of a team that a lot of people thought might be contending with Winnipeg for the top of the West this year, not the basement.
Hustler, always great, man. Enjoy your program all the time. Keep it rolling and have a great weekend. Thanks for this.
Right back at you, Rod.
Andrew Hustler Paterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk. You can find them on YouTube daily at 1 p.m. Central. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.